Hi, I'm Shauna, and this is welcome to Wonder.wander homeschool. I'm just going over the first week or so. We've had a very interesting start to our school year. Our schedule has been all over the place, but we've been able to get enough of the schoolwork done that I have a better feel for the different curriculums that we've picked and kind of what kind of changes I want to tweak and what might work for you, but it's definitely not working for us right now. So let's take a look at that and we'll talk about it. First, I'm going to start with my oldest, my fourth grader, on what's working and what's not working. So let's go. So still working just great is this word detective. She was doing the level 2. Now she's doing level 3. And I wish there's a level 4 because she is in 4th grade. But this is just a morning time work for her. And it just is a bunch of games and puzzles that implement practice for spelling. And it's been really great for her. Also, another win has been our cursive handwriting. We've been working on this since last year, and she loves just practicing that. That's kind of how she starts her day, her copy work. So that's been doing well. So that's also another win. Math, as usual, I cannot say enough good things about Math with Confidence. We have not gotten super far on it right now, but it has been great. They've reviewed their multiplication and division and doing factors, and now she's still kind of on the first section. We just kind of went over area and perimeter again, and so I think we're getting close to the end of doing the factors, and then I think it's going to be a little bit more factor heavy, where she's gonna have to really practice that, which is why I've been encouraging her to memorize her multiplication tables, because that'll make factors way faster. And she's slowly getting there. It's a process. So then when it comes to writing, I haven't gotten time to have her do much more than one of these since we've done the first part of this, but I really like the way it goes. They read the story, they narrate it, then they have some writing off, some questions like comprehension questions, talk about it, go deeper. They have some writing on it. They kind of rewrite it in a different format. So she did let's see if I can get this right here. Okay, so she had, for example, one of the writing, kind of works and supports what she's learned for grammar, and it's helping her kind of secure what she's learned and her foundation of it, and also teach her new things at the same time, with a lot of hands-on practice for it. So, for example, it's kind of like almost like a Mad Libs of adjective for mighty and famine. And so they changed it, and then they had to write it, changing out for those 3 nouns, what are the adjectives? What are 3 different adjectives you can change every time? So she rewrote that. And they give examples, which is really helpful. And then there's also point of view. So I had her reread this and change everything to the first person point of view. And in a notebook, actually, no, never mind. She actually wrote it in here. She rewrote the story as if it was from the older brother. So that's great practice for her. The last one is speaking it. And so I had her retell the prodigal son's ending to the class. So they start with a smaller excerpt. So that kind of part, rather than doing the whole entire story. And I think the next is a short parable that she's read it, but we haven't been able to do any of the written part yet. So she's going to probably start doing this, because I've been trying to follow this. This is not my favorite. We will be using parts of it because the writing in it, this is the teacher's book. She's actually working on the student book right now, doing some poetry, but there's pieces of it that I like. I like the idea of it. I think this is supposed to be, I want to say this is supposed to be the 5th grade book, but it could be the 4th grade book, and I just tried to do it on her grade level that she's at, and it's everything not that I have the grammatically, the vocabulary and, the composition, all of that she kind of already has done in her work last school year. So other than spelling, which I thought would help, I haven't really been doing the spelling either. So like I was saying, a lot of these, like when it's talking about, prepositions, it's trying to teach that later on, and capitalizations, all the rules. It's really solid if you're first learning it, but because we already did, it kind of is too remedial for her. And it just seemed like that wasn't going to keep her interest. So what I'm thinking of doing is actually switching more over to this, but then using the awesome excerpts they have of some really good reading excerpts, and have her go through the book list instead of doing the book studies. And then as she goes through the books, we can kind of talk about it. They have some pretty good questions to talk about the different chapters in the book studies. I know a lot of you have asked how to do that. I was originally just going to have it be something she did as a separate week, but then when I saw how light the work was for the everyday words, I think it's definitely doable to have them read the amount of chapters that they're saying for each section. So like day 1, oh, that's not this. Hold on, let me find the first. Okay, so here's Farmer Boy for the book study. It has different vocabulary words. You just kind of want to point out to them. And you also can have them use, okay, well, you can use these and they fill it in here. Just kind of know that they looked at them, that it stuck out to them. There's a summary at the beginning. And it just does it from chapters 1 through 4, 5 through 7, 8 through 10, 11 through 12. So I was figuring every time that there would be a day, I would have her read that many, which can be a lot. I'm usually a fan of reading just like one chapter, but in this case, I figured she could read 1 through 4, and she could. She was not able to narrate as much, though, as she usually can for less chapters at a time. I think because, first of all, it's Farmer Boy for her. She really loved Little House in the Big Woods when we read it, but I think she wasn't as interested, also because she's a fourth grader girl, and I think it's more about a boy at first. The whole story is called Farmer Boy, so she just didn't quite pique her interest right now. She's a lot more into mysteries, and so this was kind of a miss for the reading for her, but I know it's good. It's really great, writing, so I think we'll still have her finish it. But yeah, so basically after 1 through 4, what did Almanzos think Bill Ritchie was going to do to Mr. Corse, and what happened instead? So just it's helping guide you into narrations if you're not used to it. So I think that's a really good way of doing it. I think it's built up fine. I just think for the most part, the grammar and questions are a little too, she already knows them. So these, though, I absolutely love these stories, these excerpts. So like Paul Revere's Ride by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, reading the different parts of the Constitution. Where is it? Let's see if I can find it. This is lesson 1. I think it's in lesson 2. Here we go. So we got the amendments of the Constitution. So the amendments of the Constitution, the one, and so we went over each one. I recommend going over it together with your child and your student because some of these are pretty big words. And so I was able to kind of explain and go through what each one meant. So that was great. So she kind of understood what each one was, and we wrote it down on a separate piece of paper in a notebook. I highly suggest a notebook for this. I think it helps a lot better than just having the school book. So I haven't noticed a huge difference, to be honest, between the teacher book and the kids book. It has a few things on the side, like answers to certain things, like right here. But other than that, there's some tests if you want to do the little quizzes. So, I mean, it helps a little bit if you're not sure about the grammar, but at least for the content of the level she's at, it's stuff that I still remember how to do. I'm sure that'll change when she's in junior high and high school, where it gets a little bit more detailed on grammar, and more advanced. So that's something that maybe, I don't know, we'll see. The spelling tip, those are pretty cool. The ideas of just these little tough ones that for spelling, we forget that ER spells war, so it has those. I think those are great, and I still might use these spelling lists this year and just keep going, and instead of testing, just have her practice it as copy work, just to get a better skill set when it comes to spelling, because I know that's one thing we've been a little behind on. But yeah, so I kept going through trying to see where it was that she was at. The tall tales is something we did yesterday, and it just didn't take as long as I thought. Maybe it's because when it's one student, it just goes a little faster than when you're trying to teach all your kids at once. But we went over and we made our own tall tale by filling out the chart, and then she wrote it, and I helped her kind of edit it, so she kind of understood the whole idea of it. She wasn't super interested, but I think that was something that was really fun for me as a kid, so I'm glad we got to at least go through it. And then there's another book study that we're going to read, but I kind of went through and I bookmarked in her book the lessons I did want to do. So this is her book, and I went through the ones that I'm like, you know what, this seems like something we should definitely read, whether it's like there's just some really good parts, like the poetry. We're starting to read into that. So she got to read about the writer and the author of The America the Beautiful. So we read that, and then we talked about it, and then we read this excerpt about Catherine Lee Bates, who wrote it, and her inspiration from it. And that was really interesting, something I never knew and never learned. So that was great. I love when I get to learn along with my kids. But yeah, so we did, and then she went and did her own poem. She wasn't really feeling like doing poetry. She loves to try to see if I can do more for her, and I have to refrain so she can do it herself. But she basically said it, and I wrote it down to try to get her started. She had said, I wish I would think more like right now. Like, she's like, I don't feel like thinking about poetry. So I wrote it down, and I said, let's have that be our poem. So it's the 8-syllable, 6-syllable, 8-syllable, 6-syllable pattern. And so we just went and did that. I don't want to go to school. I'd rather play outside right now. Schoolwork can be so cruel. So that was her version of America the Beautiful. And when it comes to the syllable pattern of the poetry. So she got to practice that. We will be a work in progress for poetry. But like, for example, the contractions, she knows her contractions really well. She really knows prepositional phrases and sentences, capitalizing when she needs it, possessive noun and all that stuff. I'm not going to waste time when she already knows it on her schoolwork. So review is great, but since it's supposed to be teaching it for the first time, for her, it just was a miss for us. So that's why we're not doing it, but I don't think it's bad by any means. I just think it ends up being busy work if you already learned it. So then they're about to learn about more kinds of poems. So the Sinequane, I hope that said Sinequane. So she's going to learn about that. It has all the directions on how to write it. And then I'm having her draw a picture and kind of do her poem on a piece of paper. I loved poetry when I was in junior high. We did a whole unit when I was in 6th grade. So this reminds me a lot of that, where we would learn the poem, we'd make our own, and then we'd do artwork on it. So I'm definitely going to go through and do those. And then I'll have her do a little bit of these worksheets. But mainly, it's like limericks, the different types. Diamant. That's where I think the teacher's manual will come in handy. Just for looking up how to say those and not butcher them completely. So then we have, there's another book study, I think. It's about talking about a missionary, but the oral presentation and folk tales, I'm going to have her read that because that looks great. That's something that's not really taught in the other language arts we used to do. So I figured that'll be great for her to enrich her schooling. And then this one is going to be about character building, character sketches, all these mapping that help you with your writing and brainstorming. And then I'm going to have her do, let's see what this is. So we're reading a paragraph of Strawberry Girl, and find the sentence from which each item's outline was taken. Use the outline, rewrite the paragraph using your own words. When you're finished, compare your paragraph to the original paragraph. Can you find differences? Does your paragraph tell the story just as well? So that'll help, I think, with the formatting for writing. I'm always for that. And then there's a speech making section, which I will definitely do. And also the last part, which is just really more of a patriotic based grammar review. Their Star Spangled Banner, the story of it. So I appreciate that part of this curriculum. And then it has a bunch of questions of like, what effect did this war have on America? Who won the war? I'm really excited about that. That will be great to get her those deeper questions rather than just doing grammar work. So that's what we're going to be taking from the rest of this. And when we're done, we're done. But I would not say don't do this book. I'm just saying that is just not that's not going to work for us at this point. And if she hadn't learned it, I don't know if it's quite supportive enough for us. But that's just my personal style teaching, and after a few years of just trying to realizing what works and what doesn't, I'm getting a sense for it faster throughout the school year rather than just sticking with it and hoping for the best. So I'm just kind of melding it together to make it work. So this is a really long video about this, but I know that was something that a lot of people had a question on how that was going to work, and I wasn't sure either. So that's what I'm taking from it. There's some good parts, but at least from where she's at, from the curriculum we were doing before, she already learned most of it, unfortunately. So we're going to do the Writing Rhetoric, Book 2, Narrative 1, for the rest of the school year after we finish that part of the Learning a Language, Arts through Literature. So that was a semi-miss, but there's some goodness in there and some richness in there still. And then for science, we are doing the Seasons of Field. It does not feel like science, so it's so new to me to have it be so light and hands-off. But we did make fruit preserves yesterday. We took some raspberries and sugar and lemon juice, and we made our own jam, and it was delightful. And that with Nutella, I'm telling you, is the best. Like the kids love it. I love it. Huge fan of that section. I haven't really been doing any journals or any gluing into any journals, but I did have them watercolor together, and we talked about the method, and we read through the directions for the chemistry of it all. I talked over that with the different parts, the solid, liquid, and colloids. I didn't know what colloids were, and now they do. And then I didn't have them forage, but they did do the store, just like in the book Home in the Woods. So they seem to be taking something from it. I don't know how long this will last. I'm not sure if this is just a semester, but I'm just kind of going on pretty much one section each week until I'm done. So I'm just going to go with that. And it's nice. It's enjoyable, especially for the fall. So we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So it's 18 weeks. So 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. It might be enough. I mean, it sounds like it'd be at least almost all the school year. So I'm going to let it be a light year for science and just really enjoy and try to dig into the art of it, the learning about from slow down, learning about the different kind of parts of nature. I really love this book. It's beautiful, but it also does tell the different parts of what they're talking about. So we just read The Fox Eats Berry from Bush. Very simple, but it's teaching them something. So I have to sometimes, as a parent, you got to add some more wandering in your homeschool. You have to let them wander a little bit. You have to slow down, literally, like this book. It's helped a lot. And then for history, lastly, for my fourth grader, this is another family group, so I won't re-talk about science or history. We're doing a Viking study right now, a Viking unit from Little School Smiths, and then we're going to be doing a Jamestown unit and then a Mayflower unit, and that should, I believe, bring us to the holidays. So the Viking unit has been pretty good. The YouTube videos are fantastic and very informational about teaching about the Vikings. Viking waffles were a hit, nice and simple way, even though later on in the video they told you the Vikings don't have the horns on their helmets. So they loved making this with the contrast. They love any kind of hands-on art projects, so they loved that. We ended up doing watercolors instead because I did not have that paint on hand. And we talked about the family tree. We didn't get to do the activity, but I love that they have the opportunity to do all these different activities. And then we could still bake bread. We haven't done that yet. That would have been this week. So maybe we will. Some Viking bread. It has the recipe right there. And then maybe we'll do the shields because they looked really excited when they saw that as an option. So, and then I'm definitely going to have them do their little runic alphabet and Viking necklaces because I actually have it on hand. One of the few things. It's from like ornaments I had a few Christmases ago. So yeah, and so then I guess they're going to make an explorer journal too. That would be fun. I think they're going to love that. And then I did get some books from the library, and I've been looking on YouTube for the other ones that I don't have. But yeah, so far, I think it's been a great, gentle way to learn about Vikings and had us do some good conversations. We also read a book that's not connected with this curriculum. I don't know if it's out here, but it's with the Vikings. It's about a Viking boy growing up. So let me see if I can find that. Okay, I was able to find it. It was in my kids' room. So it's Viking Adventure by Clyde Robert Beulah, and it goes through a boy that's growing up as a Viking. It goes through his training. It goes through him hearing stories, and that was pretty common in the Viking culture to do storytelling and talking about Vinland. And then he's saying he wanted to go to Vinland, and he ended up going. and finding it in his story. And you get to kind of see what happened and then how his adventure ends. So it's a really good, yeah, I think it was just a really good choice for reading. Clyde Robert Beulah does a really great job making you feel about, you know, you understand it as a kid, feeling like you're there, but then also it's not too intense at the same time. Yeah, so I really recommend that with it. If you have younger kids, maybe not, because it does deal with some death and plotting against people, which that happened also with the Vikings. So I feel like that really helped support this Viking unit, and I kind of wish they had that on the list, so I would add that if I were you. But that is for my 4th grade. That's what I have right now. So this is like my schoolroom. It's definitely not as clean as it was. So I had this, and then I had the chair, which is nice, and then we have right here their table that they do all the arts and crafts and all their work at. It does get a little bit warm during the middle of the day right now with the heat waves we've been having, but I'm really excited for the fall because all of these trees out here are going to have leaves falling, and that's going to be great for a nature unit. And also, since this is screened in, it's going to feel so good with the chilly air. Right now, as if I don't finish before noon, which thankfully we have been doing a pretty good job about finishing before noon, I have to take them inside because it does get very humid and stuffy out here. So that is all I have for you for right now. I will make another video just on a little update for my 2nd grader and for my kindergartner, but overall those ones should be way shorter because I'm pretty much keeping all they're doing. There's not too many changes. So yeah, I hope you have a great day and a blessed day.